I know it's
slows, but we'll take you to where business is booming and the outlook for the rest of the year good. An incredible security breach at the inauguration. The Secret Service and guards didn't see it. You will. Also tonight, how the last of the Texas 7 were captured, and an intelligence disaster that cost American lives. An untold story you will hear tonight.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. President Bush is keeping up his drumbeat of negative talk about the health of the U.S. economy and using that in his efforts to sell Congress on a big tax cut. By most independent assessments, the economy is sending mixed signals. 4 major corporations are cutting 20,000 jobs. But the Federal Reserve says laid-off workers should find new jobs quickly. A new survey of business people says their confidence in the economy is at a 20-year low. But consumer spending shows signs of coming back, interest rates have just been cut, and America's bankers say they don't expect a recession. Many investment counselors say they expect the back half of the year to be at least fairly good. CBS's Anthony Mason reports for you what's up with the economy and what's down.
In the slowdown, the boom came down on thousands of workers today. Norfolk Southern Railroad said it will cut 2,000 jobs. AOL is also getting rid of 2,000 workers. Appliance giant Whirlpool is cutting 6,000 jobs. And telecom equipment maker Lucent made the biggest cuts, 10,000 employees, nearly a tenth of its workforce.
These Lucent layoffs are not the last. This is a pattern that we're going to see, but the size of them is not sufficient to cause us to believe that a recession is coming.
But President Bush again painted a cloudier picture.
I think the evidence is going to become more and more clear that the economy is not as hopeful as we'd like.
Perhaps, but the economy keeps sending conflicting signals. Unemployment remains low, and consumer spending has actually ticked up in January.
While they're confident about their jobs and while they've got some money in their pockets, they'll keep spending. We can't frighten them into a recession just yet.
But retailers are running scared. At the International Gift Show in New York, where store owners come from all over the country to buy new products for the spring, Ann Morehouser, who sells glassware, sensed a different mood.
You can see it here at this show. The show's been down with attendance. You can see right now there's nobody in the aisles practically.
Many retailers have been through a rough season.
How much did your business slow down?
I'd say 50%.
So Stephen Murphy is buying carefully for his shop in West Hartford, Connecticut.
I'm looking for unique, high-end stuff that I'm almost sure I can sell. I can't buy nothing I have to sit on.
Retailers say nothing would lift consumer spirits like another interest rate cut. Alan Greenspan speaks to Congress tomorrow and could signal whether he'll cut rates again when the Fed meets next week. Dan?
Anthony Mason, thanks. As other parts of the economy slow, the U.S. oil and gas industry is making huge profits thanks largely to the higher prices Americans are paying for energy. Chevron and ExxonMobil reported today that their fourth quarter profits nearly doubled. For all of 2000, ExxonMobil earned nearly $17 billion. That's the biggest profit ever for any U.S. corporation. And while some corporations are shedding workers, the oil and gas exploration industry in this country has added hundreds of jobs in the past year. The number of drilling rigs in use nationally has more than doubled. CBS's Cynthia Bowers has an example on the drilling boom in Wyoming.
These days, wide open Wyoming has the look of a modern gold rush. But today, the gold is natural gas. And with prices high as the western sky, drilling rigs are popping up all over the plains.
We have a 30 trillion cubic foot resource here, right in the Powder River Basin of Wyoming. This is equivalent to a Prudhoe Bay. It's equivalent of 4 billion barrels of oil.
Those massive reserves trapped in coal beds mean money to producers like John Kennedy, a lot of money. The same gas that sold for $2 last year now nets him $9, and he's not alone. From coast to coast, where there's coal, there's usually methane gas and people drilling for it.
That's in the ground, that's waiting, that can be produced and it can be produced economically.
Not since the coal boom of the early 80s has this state seen such frenzied activity. Over the next 10 years in the Powder River Basin alone, the number of gas wells is expected to increase tenfold to more than 70,000. And many people worry not enough thought's been given to what all this might be doing to the environment.
Enormous quantities of water have to be pumped out to get the gas.
Up to 100 gallons a minute per well, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It's creating an unheard of problem in some parts of this desert-like land. Too much water.
It will not stand this kind of water coming all winter long. It kills the vegetation, and it's ruined a lot of my grazing.
Others complain valuable drinking water is being lost, but most everyone agrees America must have access to this resource.
There's an impact to any source of energy. The issue really, in my mind, comes down to how do you do it right?
But in Wyoming and many other states, with the demand for gas so high and so much money to be made, for now, the balance may lie in favor of energy, not the environment. Cynthia Bowers, CBS News, Gillette, Wyoming.
Power politics was part of the drill today at the White House as President Bush invited top Democrats over to take each other's measure and talk about prospects for his Republican right agenda in Congress. Beyond the pleasantries and pledges of cooperation afterward, Democrats made it clear that they will cooperate up to a point. One of those points, the Bush tax cut plan. Democrats continue to view it as, among other things, a giveaway to the wealthy that spends the budget surplus and leaves no money for such things as seniors to pay for prescription drugs. And the president met this evening with Republican Senator John McCain of Arizona about McCain's determined push for passing serious campaign finance reform now. CBS News Chief White House correspondent John Roberts reports this meeting did not produce a meeting of the minds. John?
Dan, no agreement was expected and no agreement was reached. But today's one-on-one at the White House was a measure both of John McCain's new power in the Senate and the level of Mr. Bush's concern that his agenda may get overshadowed by McCain's aggressive push to get the bill through Congress. There is common ground on many of the bill's provisions, including a ban on corporate soft money, but the two are still far apart over the issues of individual contributions and so-called paycheck protections to ensure that union dues don't get used for political purposes without prior permission. The senator tried to assure the president that he did not want to interfere with Mr. Bush's agenda, but stuck to his pledge to seek a vote on the bill by the end of March. Dan?
John Roberts. The divisions over the Bush nomination of John Ashcroft to be Attorney General grew sharper today, mostly around the issues of civil rights, race relations, and women's issues. Senate Democrats put off a confirmation vote for at least a week. So what's really going on here? Maybe more than you might think. CBS News Chief Washington correspondent Bob Schieffer on Capitol Hill has the real deal. Bob?
Well, Dan, this is about more than Ashcroft. Democrats know they don't have the votes to block his confirmation, but they're under such incredible pressure from both sides that they're hoping against hope something may turn up to disqualify him.
Our office has received over 15,000 letters and over 15,000 phone calls.
California's Feinstein acknowledged the pressure as she announced her opposition to Ashcroft today. This was never an easy vote for Democrats, with so many of their usual allies, civil and women's rights groups, against him. But that's only one side of it. Republicans are bringing intense grassroots pressure on Democrats who face re-election in 2 years in states that George W. Bush carried in the presidential election. Senators Cleland of Georgia, Landrieu of Louisiana, Baucus of Montana, Johnson of South Dakota, and Rockefeller of West Virginia. They're being warned a vote against Ashcroft could cost them their own re-elections in what is now Bush country. So Ashcroft's fate is just a part of it. Senators are worried about their own futures, too, and about who's going to control the Senate in 2 years. Dan.
Bob Schieffer. Capitol Hill Police and the Secret Service have launched a full investigation into a security breach on Inauguration Day. A man cracked into a restricted area and got what's called euphemistically, quote, an unscheduled handshake with President Bush. And the story gets even more bizarre. CBS's Phil Jones has details.
Despite unprecedented inaugural security, the first time ever for security checks along the parade route, And despite the president riding in a new limousine that's built like a tank to withstand a rocket attack, presidential security was still penetrated for a few seconds on Saturday. The incident happened right here outside the same Capitol entrance used by a man in 1998 when he shot and killed 2 Capitol police officers. On Saturday, President Bush went to this area to begin his inaugural parade. In the crowd waiting was a man who had a standing room only pass for the opposite side of the Capitol, where spectators had watched Mr. Bush be sworn in earlier. Those inside here had gone through electronic security checkpoints. On this side of the Capitol, access was supposed to be much more limited. But watch closely now, and you'll see a man almost sprint from the crowd, and within 6 seconds, he's face-to-face with the president. He has a little coin in his hand to show Mr. Bush. You can see the president becoming uncomfortable. He walks off, and a hand goes up to stop the man. Police recognized the man. He'd penetrated security 4 years ago to shake hands with President Clinton. He was not arrested or identified because police say he broke no laws. Phil Jones, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Still ahead on the CBS Evening News, go to jail, go directly to jail. The last of the Texas Killer 7 surrender. And the do-it-yourself solution to the nation's power shortage.
Interest in the Yellow Pages falling? Now there's something better. Switchboard.com, a free directory powered by the internet. It's business listings, it's people search, it's maps and directions, locally and nationally. So before you pick up a Yellow Pages, drop in on us instead. Switchboard.com. Think outside the book.
Last flu season, doctors turned to new prescription medicines to help fight the flu. And the one they turned to most was Tamiflu, the #1 doctor-prescribed flu treatment. Tamiflu goes right to the very cause of the flu, attacking the flu virus itself. Don't delay. As soon as your symptoms start, coughing, fever, chills, and body aches, visit your doctor.
Hello, I need to see the doctor.
And ask if Tamiflu is right for you, so you can start feeling better, faster. 1 out of 10 may experience mild to moderate nausea or vomiting. Fewer may experience bronchitis, sleeplessness, or dizziness. When it's flu, doctors write Tamiflu more than any other prescription.
Get the whole grain goodness of Quaker oatmeal. Toasted. Quaker toasted oatmeal squares. Crisp, crunchy squares with a hint of brown sugar. It's the same Quaker oatmeal, only toasted.
Who says you can't share secrets with your grandson for years and years?
Who says you can't watch the waves break for many summers to come?
Pravachol says you can fight back against heart attack. If you have high cholesterol or heart disease, and diet and exercise still aren't enough, adding Pravachol can make a difference. Other drugs lower cholesterol, but Pravachol is the only drug of its kind that's also proven to help prevent both first and second heart attacks, so you can live a longer, healthier life. Talk to your doctor about Pravachol today. Pravachol, a prescription drug, isn't for everyone, including people with liver problems or women who are pregnant, nursing, or may become pregnant. And because serious side effects can result, tell your doctor about any muscle pain or weakness you experience while on Pravachol. Your doctor may do blood tests to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor about any medicines you are taking.
Who says you can't spend a lifetime with your first love?
Pravachol. It's your life. Fight for it.
A white supremacist pleaded guilty today to shooting up a Los Angeles Jewish center and murdering a mailman in 1999. In a plea bargain to avoid the death penalty, Buford Furrow admitted attacking the Jewish community and daycare center, wounding 3 small boys, a teenage girl, and a woman. Later the same day, he gunned down a Filipino-American letter carrier. The hunt for the Texas Killer 7 ended today not with a bang, but a lecture. Cornered in Colorado, the last 2 of the 7 who broke out of a Texas prison last month were allowed to have their say on local television. Then, as CBS's Maureen Maher reports, they gave themselves up.
Handcuffed and heavily guarded, Donald Newberry and Patrick Murphy Jr. walked out of a Colorado Springs hotel and back into reality.
We feel extremely fortunate that this happened without any injury to anybody.
That was our objective from the beginning.
The beginning of the end for the remaining 2 fugitives came late Tuesday. SWAT teams surrounded this Holiday Inn after an employee tipped off police that 2 suspicious men had checked in the night before. After 5 hours of intense negotiations, the escapees struck a deal. A chance to deliver a live 5-minute uninterrupted message broadcast on CBS affiliate KKTV.
I want to say thank you very much. The authorities here have been very professional in our dealings, and hopefully, like I said, maybe this will open the eyes of some people that the penal system does have problems within it.
Both men claim the December 13th prison break was as much a statement about the Texas prison system as it was a run for freedom. But Donald Newberry told reporter Eric Singer the escape could have been much more violent.
It could have been a bloodbath. We could have been out of there in 30 minutes instead of 2.5 hours. We took time to take these people and do it gently.
Many had predicted a bloodbath was exactly how the 42-day-old manhunt would end. But with 4 of their accomplices captured, a 5th dead, and their only means of transportation found abandoned yesterday, surrender may have been the only way out for Murphy and Newberry.
There was nowhere for them to run and no place for them to hide.
In Irving, Texas, where all 6 face murder charges for the slaying of Officer Aubrey Hawkins, friends and family welcomed the news.
I feel relieved, very, very relieved, that they are behind bars, and let's hope they stay there.
Late this afternoon, shackled and silent, Murphy and Newberry were in a Colorado courtroom, the first step to sending them back to Texas, back to prison. Tonight, officials report that all of the weapons stolen by the fugitives have been recovered, including Officer Hawkins' gun, evidence that could be used not only to send the Texas 7 back to prison, but all the way to death row. Dan?
Maureen Maher in Colorado Springs. Next year on CBS, plastics. One answer in the desperate search for ways to generate electricity.
Starkist needs to do what's never been done in the history of tuna. Something fresher tasting. Really easy. Fresher. Easier.
I've got it. Fresher tasting Starkist tuna in a new easy-to-use pouch.
Introducing the new Starkist Flavor Fresh Pouch. It's better because it's more convenient. Just tear and use. No draining, no hassle. And it's vacuum sealed so it tastes better, fresher. The new Starkist Flavor Fresh Pouch.
Our best ever.
Need extra cash? Don't charge it on your credit cards. Get a second mortgage with no closing costs from Ditech.com. With a second mortgage, you can consolidate all your existing high-interest debts, get the cash you need for any purpose, and end up with one lower monthly payment. A second mortgage with no closing cost is smart money from Ditech.com. Log on now for fast online approval or call us at 1-800-71-FIXED.
Hi. How much will you give me for these?
Nah, I can't use these.
Come on, you can give me something.
No, I don't think so.
Will you work with me here? Make me an offer?
Let me think. No.
What will you do with all your old antacids now that there's new Pepsid Complete? It's the only one that starts to neutralize acid in seconds and lasts for hours, all with a single tablet. New Pepsid Complete. Just one, and heartburn's done.
See how beautiful 60 can look. See how invisible osteoporosis can be. If you're over 60, there's a nearly 1 in 2 chance you have it. So ask your doctor about a bone density test and treatments that can help.
Lincoln, Mercury, and Ford dealerships offer convenient Saturday hours because your tires, battery, shocks, and brakes are working hard all week, just like you. Our quality care professionals know exactly what your vehicle needs to be at its best. Now get a Motorcraft Tested Tough battery for $59.95, making it easier for you to get an expert under the hood. Quality care service on Saturday at participating Ford, Lincoln, and Mercury dealerships.
If you have high blood pressure, you know all these cold medicines warn you not to take them. So take their advice. Don't take them. Take decongestant-free Coricidin HBP. Powerful relief that won't raise your blood pressure.
CBS CBS hard news
malnutrition,
investigates a matter of life and death.
Hard-hitting investigations from the best team in the business. Eye on America, only on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
The Bush administration repeated today that it's mainly up to California itself to find the light at the end of the tunnel, and the president will not extend emergency power sharing orders when they expire in 2 weeks. But a Bush spokesman said several other ideas are being considered. One is a rollback in clean air standards for power plants to get more of them online. With or without watering down clean air laws, the power surge in California and other states is generating new ideas to pump up the power supply. CBS's Byron Pitts has dug up some illuminating cases in point.
At a plastics plant in New Jersey, they're producing shopping bags and their own electricity. That's right, enough electric power to keep this $500 million a year business in business.
We could run 2 out of our 3 plants if there was a blackout in New Jersey.
Alpha Industries installed what's called a cogenerational system long before California's blackout, and when talk of an energy shortage was only a whisper.
This engine is similar to a truck engine, almost like your car engine, except a lot bigger.
Fueled by natural gas, the system churns out electricity 30% cheaper than the local power companies. Smaller versions will be available to homeowners and small businesses in about 3 years.
There's no silver bullets today. Not here yet.
This is just part of the solution.
This is absolutely part of the solution.
These solutions, say analysts, will be a mixture of new technology and technology from the past. And for that very reason, nuclear power plants are making a comeback in America.
Well, there really is a renaissance for the use of nuclear energy in this country.
It's an astonishing thing to hear after nuclear power fell out of favor following the 3 Mile Island accident in 1979. Today, there are 103 nuclear power plants operating in the U.S., producing almost 20% of the nation's electric power. Dozens more could come back online soon. Meantime, Alpha Industries will keep making its own electric power with one regret.
I wish we could say we were geniuses and saw this coming.
They never installed this system at their plastics plant in Southern California. Byron Pitts, CBS News, Lyndhurst, New Jersey.
Ahead on the CBS Evening News, 25 years ago, they sent in the Marines. Now they're hunting for 3 left behind.
Winter air makes it worse. So can blow drying. That's scalp stress itch. And Scalpicin stops it. Clean, unscented, medicated to stop scalp stress itch.
Every time.
Scalpicin stops scalp stress itch.
Are you picking up Stephanie?
Sure. I'll go get her.
Why are you here?
Shut up. Hey, ladies.
The 2001 Big Montero. Now with a low APR, it can save you thousands.
Meet Mark. Marks. Meet Mark's mom, Peg. Peg pledges. Pledge, Peg, pledge. See Pledge remove Marks. Pledge removes marks. Pledge stops crayon marks. Pledge gets very high marks. Everywhere marks. See Peg's parlor shine. Polished, protected, pretty remarkable. No mark, not remarkable. Pledge cleans, conditions, and protects from a world full of marks. That's the Johnson & Family Company.
Try it both ways. Most dancers are afraid of losing a step. After I had my stroke, I was afraid I'd never dance again. Now I take Bear aspirin every day, like my doctor said, to help prevent another stroke.
Aspirin is not appropriate for everyone, so be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen.
And when my body is sore, I take extra strength Bear. It's that strong. It's great to be back.
Bear. Take it for pain, take it for life.
If you think this is the only way to take fiber, we'd like to reverse your thinking. Now there's chewable fiber choice. No spoon, no powder, no water, no glass. Why would you take anything else? Fiber choice. Anytime, anywhere.
You're getting sleepy. Very sleepy.
Cold symptoms keeping you awake? Get NyQuil.
The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can get the sleep you need to feel better medicine.
Big plans for a major intersection. Coming up at 6, how a new interchange could help prevent accidents on Highway 26. Tonight at 6.
U.S. military investigators are at work this week on a tiny speck of land 20 miles off the coast of Cambodia. They hope to resolve a lingering mystery, the fate of 3 U.S. Marines lost in combat on Koh Tang Island a quarter of a century ago. As CBS's Vince Gonzalez reports, a little noted military blunder made them forgotten heroes.
Thank you for calling back.
The graveyard shift can be lonely, but Gail Hargrove has had 25 years of practice being alone.
And then this is the day we got married.
How old were you there?
I was 18, he was 23.
33 days later, she said goodbye to her new husband, Corporal Joseph Hargrove, as he shipped out for the Far East.
The landing zone was the
2 months later, in April 1975, the war in Vietnam ended. As Americans fled Saigon, Joseph Hargrove was thousands of miles away on a Marine base in Japan, writing love letters.
I love thinking of you. There's nothing I'd rather do. And when this year is up, my love, I am coming back to you.
But he never came back.
Cambodia, U.S. officials said the attack was ordered.
Just 2 weeks after the humiliating defeat in Vietnam, Cambodia seized an American merchant ship, the SS Mayaguez. U.S. intelligence said the crew was taken to the island of Koh Tang.
There are limits beyond which the United States cannot be pushed.
Corporal Hargrove was part of a rescue mission ordered by President Ford. It was hailed as a success.
The entire crew has been rescued.
But according to military documents and films obtained by CBS News and interviews with veterans of the Mayaguez incident, the operation was an intelligence disaster that needlessly cost American lives.
It enters your mind probably several times a day, and it will till the day you die.
Jim Davis and other Marine officers were told to expect a few dozen lightly armed pirates on Koh Tang Island. Instead, hundreds of heavily armed Cambodians were waiting.
Having been in Vietnam, I'll be honest with you, what went through my head was, oh, Lord, here we go again.
We're coming, man, we're coming. Most of the rescue mission's helicopters were severely damaged, 3 blown out of the sky. Incredibly, intelligence reports prepared 2 days before the assault accurately estimated as many as 300 heavily armed Cambodian soldiers on the island. But the Marines never saw those reports. And the Mayaguez crew wasn't even on Koh Tang Island. The men had been released at a different location before the Marines landed. The final toll, 15 dead, 50 wounded, and 3 missing, including Joseph Hargrove.
You know, a few good men can't do their job if you don't give them a few good facts.
Still wears very heavy on your mind of those that did not make it out, and especially the missing. That part was a disaster.
It was a bad day, a real bad day.
The widow and the officer recently met at the funeral of another casualty of the Mayaguez incident, and they discovered they are bound together not only by sorrow, but by a fear. Fear that the 3 missing Marines were left behind alive. More on that tomorrow. Vince Gonzalez, CBS News, Arlington National Cemetery.
Lest we forget. And that's part of our world tonight. Dan Rather reporting for the CBS Evening News. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.
Experience you can trust. CBS News.
With Shirley Hancock and Mike Donahue. This is Coin 6 News at 6.
You're looking at video taken from a helicopter.